Do you know what FIRE stands for, the acronym? Think about it. FIRE. It's the secret to success and secret to building wealth. And this is what I want to go over today. I want to go over what it is, how it works, and most importantly, what it means to you and how that you can use this in order to be able to capture what you want to capture every single day, every single hour, and every single action on what you do. Last video, if you saw it, FIRE stood for force inside, relentlessly expecting. And that within itself is, and I got a lot of different FIRE acronyms and stuff like that. I've had them for years. That is true. It's a force inside, relentlessly expecting what it is that you want, what it is that you dream, what it is that you're going after. But there are four pillars, as I call them, to FIRE, FIRE. There's four pillars that define the power of FIRE. It defines what FIRE can do for you, what it does, how it works, and how that it can literally take you from just absolutely being a normal person to what people call it doing the impossible. Many people, again, they look at a fire, and we have a lake place, and during the winter months, during the summer months, the next door neighbors will have a fire, and we'll all sit in the fire pit. You just look at the fire; it burns beautiful. It's just a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful warmth. Most importantly, it is a beautiful thing to witness, simply because I love watching fire because of all the colors and various things like that. What if you could take that same feeling of power, that same feeling of force, and learn the four pillars of FIRE that literally would give you a blueprint, if you will, of why that you need to really energize up everything you're doing, up your activity, increase your thinking, increase your belief, increase your expectations. Because once your heart ignites and ignites your thinking, game over. Most people never hit their dreams because they weren't burning hot enough on the inside to melt all the adversity, to melt all of the setbacks. All naysayers and all the people that are negative, they just don't want you to succeed. That's the bottom line. That's okay. Prove them wrong. What you got to do is you got to simply say, I appreciate what it is that you're saying. That doesn't apply to me now. I think totally different. I get life. But when we do achieve this, I'm going to let you know, and we can chat about it. What is the FIRE acronym? Well, let me ask you a question. Are you what I call a fire carrier? A fire carrier lights up everyone and everything wherever this person goes. I've been a fire carrier all my life. A fire carrier has the fire of success, the fire of energy, the fire of wealth, the fire of dreams, the fire of helping people, the fire of making a difference, the fire of doing things that nobody else thought they ever could do. It is a fire of impossible. And if you're a fire carrier and light up success and light up people and light up the marketplace and light up conversations wherever you go, you'll find that your life and your business is going to grow exponentially. But there's a lot of water carriers out there. They're fire carriers, then they're water carriers. One lights the world up with their energy, with their thinking, with their results, with their dreams, and the other puts out the energy that fire carriers have with doubt, negatives, negative thinking, naysaying, all that other stuff. What are you? Are you a fire carrier, or are you a water carrier, or somewhere in between? May I make a suggestion? After this video, you become a fire carrier and never ever let anyone touch your fire that's going to bring all the things you've dreaming of. Because I believe that, I'm a Christian, and there is holy fire. And I believe that when you are on fire, you're connected to a very special place, if you will, that you want to drive, and you want to have that energy, and you want to help people, and you want to build something. I believe that God himself has kind of lit that up to some degree. It doesn't matter whether you're a fire carrier or water carrier. If you're a water carrier after this video and you're not a fire carrier, God bless you. But man, you're gonna like this. FIRE. F stands for freedom. When you're on fire, freedom means everything. You want the freedom to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want, and how long you want. That's freedom. And you want the freedom of time. You want the freedom of worry. You want the freedom of stress. You want the freedom of what you desire, because now you have time to do the things that you want to do. How would you like to be able to spend as much time with your kids as you want? How would you like to spend as much time with your husband or out on the road or on trips or taking vacations? How would you like to do that? I've been living that life for over 30 years. I got a friend that says, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but my favorite part about this, Doug, having that freedom is I get up when I wake up, and sometimes I don't wake up till 9, 10 o'clock. Well, God bless you, but that's his freedom, his version of freedom. What is my freedom? To be able to go where I want, when I want, with who I want, how long I want, help people along the way, and help them build seven-figure lives, seven-figure businesses, and seven-figure income. That's freedom. We live here in the United States, and freedom is everything. And July the 4th, this coming July 4th, 250 years that the U.S. has been born. Same thing here. You need to declare a declaration of freedom in your life. And you need to say, I'm going to be free from my job, or I'm going to be free from all this stress, all this worry. Put a date on it, and then start working towards that with something that you can own, something that you can do, whether it's online, whether it's videos, whether it's social media, whether it's starting a part-time job, a part-time business, it doesn't matter. I kind of step back on the part-time job simply because a part-time business usually is much more lucrative. I in FIRE stands for Ignite. You become aware it's possible when you start building that fire on the inside of hunger and energy and excitement. You become so much more aware of what's possible, and you hunger for it. The only difference, the biggest, hugest, mongus, we say down in Texas, I used to live in Dallas, ginormous. The only ginormous thing between the difference between millionaires and the average person, the millionaires are so much more aware. They're more aware of what's around them. They're more aware of possibilities. They're more aware of what's possible. When you ignite that heart, when you ignite that imagination in your mind and in your head, you become so much more aware of what's around you to be able to build a business, who's around you. And you become more aware of what you can do because you've been looking at yourself as, well, I'm just an employee. Suddenly now you see yourself as a blowing and going entrepreneur that's going to build a seven-figure business. You ignite, you become more aware, and you start hungering for it, because that freedom is a fire within itself. It's that flicker. When you start thinking about freedom and doing the things you truly want to do, it's like suddenly you ignite saying, oh, I want that. And you become much more aware. Your imagination does, your awareness does, as well as your subconscious does. R in FIRE stands for realize. You got freedom. That little flicker of freedom ignites your heart, ignites your mind, ignites your imagination. And then you realize something that really is like a 2x4. You realize the old version of you is no longer acceptable. Because now you know there's more to life, more in life, and more that you can have, and more that you can do for others. See, that's where a lot of people have a problem, because they say, well, I like who I am. Great. If you like who you are, but why don't you be who you are in a bigger, expanded version, in a much more energized version, in a much more burning version? I'm not saying change who you are. What I'm saying is change how you view life, change how you view the future, change how you view what's possible. The old version of you, if you don't change it to something that is igniting, something that's going places, and something that's really going for somewhere huge. And it can be step by step by step, inch by inch by inch. Don't get me wrong. You got to realize the old version of you is no longer acceptable. You cannot live a life based on other people's limits. Did you get that? You can't. You can't live a life based on other people's doubts, other people's negatives. That's the old version of you. Now you start living your life based on what you think, what the fire says, as far as what's in your heart, saying this can happen, this is going to happen, mark my word, this is going to be achieved. You realize the old version of you now is no longer acceptable. This new version of you, we're going to build this, and we're going to build it huge. So freedom is the flicker. Ignite happens when you start really truly understanding what that means, and you become more aware of what's possible. Then you realize the old version of you is no longer acceptable. You got to build that new version of you that is going after the impossible. And then you exit. E, Freedom, ignite, you realize, and then it's time to exit from the old version of you. That's it. You realize the old version of you is no longer acceptance, and you said, I'm done. That old version of you, I'm opening the door and I'm going into the new version of me. You exit from the old version of you, the thinking, the doubts, the lack, the limits, and you walk through the entrance, the doorway of a 7-figure life, 7-figure business, even a 7-figure income if that's what you really truly want to do. Nothing's impossible because there's a millionaire inside of you. Remember, I said that there's a millionaire inside of you. You decide who wins. FIRE, freedom, ignite, realize, exit. Those are the 4 pillars of FIRE and what it can do for you. And this is the reason why I would suggest you start right now. What do you want? What would be the freedom thing that you want most of all? Start moving towards that. Like, subscribe to this video series. I'm telling you, we're doing some crazy stuff here. You're going to learn things you're not going to hear anywhere else. Yes, I'm energized, but the whole goal here is to transfer that energy to you because I'm telling you, this fire that's burning inside of me for you to be successful is unbelievable. I really, truly want you to build a 7-figure life, and I'm going to help you get there. I have been blessed by God to help so many other people get there. Like, share, spread the fire.